They keep warning us about World War III as if it's something coming. As if one day sirens will wail, bombs will drop, and the world will finally say, "It has begun." But what if I told you that moment has already passed, that we're not waiting for war, we're living in it? This war doesn't look like the ones before it. There are no front lines, no declarations, no official battlefields. And that's the most terrifying part. If you don't see the war, how do you know when you've already lost? You think of war as tanks rolling through the streets, but what if war was fought through your food supply? Your bank account? Your screen? What if every part of your daily life was already a battleground? Let me show you what they don't want you to see. Because once you do, you'll never look at the world the same way again. Wars used to be simple: a declaration, a battlefield, and two sides fighting for dominance. The victors had the most soldiers, the biggest weapons, and the loudest war cries. But something changed. We moved from trenches to technology, from soldiers to systems. The most powerful weapons today aren't carried on the battlefield. They're hidden in the economy, the internet, and the minds of millions. You were taught that World War III would come with missiles and armies, but what if it came quietly? No explosions, no sirens, just an invisible war happening all around you, and the scariest part? You might already be a soldier in it without even realizing it. Let me show you what war looks like now and why it's already here. Wars used to be fought with bullets. Now they're fought with keystrokes. A single hack can shut down an entire city, leave hospitals in chaos, and erase billions from a country's economy overnight. Do you think war means soldiers on the ground? Look closer. The real battle is happening in your own devices. Your bank, your power supply, your data, all just one breach away from collapse. Once wars were fought for land. Now they're fighting for control, not of borders, but of economies. Sanctions replace missiles. Stock market crashes hit harder than bombs. And inflation? That's just another form of destruction. One that doesn't leave rubble, only ruined lives. A war where you don't hear the explosion, but you feel the impact every time you check your bank account. And the worst part? The ones responsible never have to fire a single shot. The battlefield isn't just in the real world anymore. It's in the hands of artificial intelligence. Machines are making decisions that once belonged to generals. Drones are replacing soldiers. Wars are being fought without human emotion, without hesitation. And here's the scariest part. Once we give control to machines, do we ever really get it back? Or is this a war where humanity is no longer calling the shots? The most dangerous battlefield isn't land, air, or sea. It's your mind, and the weapons, misinformation, propaganda, and controlled narratives. Wars aren't just fought with weapons anymore. They're fought with ideas. If you can control people's thoughts, you don't need to control their land. And right now you are being fed a war without even knowing which side you're on. But if this is a war, who's really winning? And more importantly, who's already lost? Look around you. The world is on edge. Protests in the streets. Nations on high alert. We're told these are isolated conflicts. Russia and Ukraine, China and Taiwan, Israel and Palestine. But what if these aren't separate events? What if they're all part of something much bigger? The headlines tell you about battles being fought overseas. But the real war, it's happening where you least expect it. Not just on the battlefield, but in cyberspace. In our economies, in our minds. Governments are waging silent wars, shifting power behind the scenes. Your money is losing value. Your data is being stolen. Your opinions, shaped without you even realizing it. You don't need bombs to win a war when you can control the entire system. And the scariest part? By the time you see the full picture, it might be too late. If this is World War III, what comes next? A breaking point? full-scale collapse? Or will we live in a permanent war, one fought in silence behind closed doors while the rest of us are too distracted to notice? Most people think they'll see it coming. That one day, a siren will sound and the world will wake up to chaos. But what if the moment we're waiting for has already passed? What if the war isn't on the horizon, but happening right now in ways we were never meant to see? Think for yourself. Question everything, because the war that changes the world won't start with a bang. It'll start with silence. And by the time you realize it, the pieces will already be in place. Subscribe if you want the truth before it's too late.